Hey Central family, Mr. Bueller here. You know, something that I don't think we're actually very good at in our Western culture is what is known as lament. Lament is defined as an intense expression of grief or sorrow. And if you listen to Christian radio or scan through Christian social media, the prevailing message you will see is to be positive and uplifting and encouraging. And certainly, because of the love of God we see in Jesus Christ, in the forgiveness of sins, we of all people have grounds for hope and for joy. However, lament is something that is not foreign to Scripture. In fact, over 1/3 of the Bible's worship and prayer book, the book of Psalms, are known as Psalms of Lament. Look with me at Psalm 13. It says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed over him. Lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken. But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." In Psalms of Lament, we see three things. First, the psalmist cries out to God. That is, he asks honest and raw questions. Questions like, God, where are you? What are you doing? Why am I going through this? No doubt in the past couple of weeks, as your everyday life has been completely upended and perhaps turned upside down, you've asked questions like this. Questions like, God, why is this happening? Why is our world facing this? School's being canceled. My extracurriculars are being canceled. My everyday life is completely changed. This is the first posture of lament, that we cry out to God, that we ask Him honest and painful and raw questions. But the second posture of lament is this, that as we cry out to God, we turn to Him as the one who can help. We even see this in Psalm 13. It's like David, the writer of the psalm, is backed up against the wall and his enemy has a sword against his throat. And the only hope that David has is for God to rescue him, for someone or something to come outside of himself and rescue him. This is what we do in lament, that we cry out to God, but that we come to the end of ourselves. We realize that Googling whether or not there's a vaccine, that's not going to help us. Looking at the news and all the different headlines, that's probably not going to help us. Trying to feel certain ways or trying to do this or trying to do that, that's probably not going to help us. Rather, the only help that we need and the only help that will actually help is the Lord. And that leads to the final posture of lament, the third thing, which is recounting the faithfulness of God in the past. Look at Psalm 13, verse 6 again. "I will sing to the Lord because He has dealt bountifully with me." As we face these uncertain times, no doubt you are anxious. You are worried. You are concerned about little things and big things. But what we see in the book of Psalms, specifically in the Psalms of Lament, is that as we cry out to God, as we ask Him for help, the balm that helps our soul in the midst of troubles is recounting how God has dealt bountifully with us in the past. So today, I'm not here to give you something to do. I'm not here to give you something to feel, but rather I am here to give you someone to look to. I am here to not give you something to do, but rather to look to what has been done in Jesus Christ. Specifically that Jesus is not distant from sin, and Jesus is not distant from death, and Jesus is not distant from suffering. But rather what we see in Jesus is He took both sin and death. He took them up a hill. He was crucified by them, buried with them, but then rose again to defeat them both. And so my hope and my prayer for you today is that as you face a wave of uncertainty, that you would sing to the Lord because He has dealt bountifully with you. As Romans 5:8 says, God demonstrates His love for us in this, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. You know what that means? Your greatest problem, your greatest issue, is not a global pandemic, but rather the sin that separates you from a holy God. And your greatest solution is not a vaccine, it's not getting life back together, but rather your greatest solution is how God has demonstrated His love for you in Jesus Christ. That in Jesus you are made whole. In Jesus you are made righteous and blameless and pure. And so today, no matter where you are, no matter how you feel, no matter if this devotion is even doing anything for you, rejoice that God has dealt bountifully with you in the gospel of Jesus Christ. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait for our desks to be filled with students again. We'll see you soon.